So what's the point, right? Every single time. Let me go check again and see if it's working. But yeah. So yeah, what's the point, right? What's the point of ever speaking or trying? Yeah, I can't even find. Ugh, here we go. Ugh, here we go. Okay, so cool. I can talk to myself. Been doing that for 18 years. 18 years. 18 years. YouTube and everyone has been purposefully going out of their way to ensure I can't be seen or heard. So, yeah, what's the point? Like, as I was saying, I put I don't know, there were like 15 posts on Twitter in a row, not one single like or view or anything. And then I finally said, what's the point? I'm done with social media. And then, oh, well, because you're doing it for the likes. Give me a fucking break, dude. If I was doing it for likes, I would be complaining all the time because that's the only post you're allowed to see. Oh, I'm sure it's YouTube. Thanks for coming back. They deleted me 12 times. Like entire channels. I am positive. And they didn't even follow their own rules and give me access to my own videos. So, yeah, I am the most censored person alive ever. It's factual. It's anything I say, anywhere I go. And I'm tired of talking to myself. So I'm gonna try one more time. If y'all get kicked out again, then I have to be done because I have way better things to do than stare at a piece of fucking plastic or look into a phone. And you know, it just is getting really old. So, if you're just joining, I tried to start and I was discussing why I'm doing this challenge. I don't know what was heard or what wasn't heard. So, forgive me if I repeat myself, but I probably won't at all because in my brain, I already said it and I hate repeating myself. So, it's not likely that I'll be as thorough. It's just that's what happens when they keep doing that. So it is 100% factual. It is YouTube. It is Fakebook. It is their entire conglomerate of corporate evil. I mean, E-core, let's call it, right? It's frustrating. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. What's the point? I'm not cool enough. I'm not part of the system enough. I don't promote corporations and shopping and slavery and entitlement. If I did, then I'd be allowed to be seen, just like everybody else eating their fucking cheeseburgers and their fast food and lying about spirituality that they don't practice or lie, like those are people doing it for views. I have done everything I've done my entire life, every group, everything I started was to help other people so you didn't have to suffer like me. There's a reason they don't want me heard. I'm the one that exposed a sex trafficking ring run by the cops and feds who first tried to recruit me. And when I told them to suck it, yeah, then I was erased. I was literally killed, multiple attempted murder, chased out of how many towns, slandered everywhere, all my real work erased and replaced with slander. So that way, instead of the hundreds, there was like 700 videos at one point, all helpful stuff like making all your own household cleaners or your own shampoo or everything DIY, which, I don't understand why I'm the only one not allowed. And what's messed up is I was one of the first. I was on YouTube before most of y'all were even alive. You know what I'm saying? So all the Johnny come latelys or whatever, they get to be, heard by all. And again, not practicing what they preach, but then people that do, yeah. So again, what's the point? Because I have a bunch of shit. So I don't know if you know anyone who has literally saved as many lives as I have. And no, I don't go talk about it on social media, but anybody looking at my site and reading the testimonials, even though that's a very small percentage of people I've helped, right? Saving the dude's legs, gangrene, pancreatic cancer, stage 4, where doctors don't have reviews like I do. They don't heal anyone. So there's a reason, right? The sex trafficking ring, knowing where the bodies are buried, the agent, like all this stuff. Like when I was trying to warn you all about it, you called me a fucking crazy racist. Yeah, because that's what was popular, because that's what the news said. So you didn't hear it. But now you're all supporting these big, strong men that they don't go into the sex trafficking rings. They don't go into the canyons. They're not fighting with the cop. They're not being erased. They're getting rich. Why? So you guys think that somebody's doing something? Let me tell you right now, nobody's doing anything. And the people who used to do something, like the people who actually walked in there and tried to physically save the girls, where are we? Right? So thank you to the less than handful of people who care and who have been there to see this over the last almost 20 years, and people who have supported me and who have had to go out of their way to find me because I don't come up in feeds, because I don't people don't get notifications even if you're subscribed to notifications. Like I can't even go to YouTube and put in a name of a video with my name and find it. I literally, if I want a video on arthritis to send somebody, I have to go to my videos and scroll all the way back 8 years or whatever, video by video, one by one, right? It's unnerving. So my question, what's the point, right? And that's why I can't schedule videos in advance, as you just saw with your own eyes. You saw it last time and you're here to see it again, right? So the only way I might be allowed to speak a little bit is by just popping in. But then if 5 of you get here or comment, then you get kicked out. And then I end up talking to myself for 20 fucking minutes. And then the video isn't even shown. It's complete silence. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to try to make this short, even though whatever. Thanks for the distraction, YouTube. And let me say hello to the kind people who do come back. Thank you. All right. What up, Brian? What up, Sandra? The cat came back. The cat am I the cat? I'm painting watermelons with slogans on them. That's awesome. Love Cat. How are you? Allie from Talk Shoe Days. That's like a million years ago. Yeah, and I was allowed to be her until, yeah. So apparently, you're not allowed to actually save little girls. You're only allowed to talk about it. And if you actually do it, then you're a racist child abuser. So I just want to give a great big fuck you to all of you who fell for that. And a great big fuck yeah to those of you smart enough to see through the bullshit. So, all right. I have been keeping track of my, well, it's probably not 100%, but as far as the no grocery store challenge, I've been keeping track of what I've been eating, mostly just because then, like, what's the point, right? Do a video and go away. So I'm kind of thinking that people might want to see how it's going, or, maybe, but I mean, again, it's not for a political agenda. It's not a look at me. It is because I like to challenge myself in different ways. And I want to know how prepared I am, how creative I could be, how dependent I am. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I was talking about, back in the day when I did my 30-day soul journey that basically lasted 6.5 years, but my intention was 30 days, and I was gonna bring my own food. Anything else I needed, I had to work for it and do it myself. So that's when I learned how to fish, gut them, clean them, uh cut out hearts of palm on the beach, or get a little job at a campground, and get a couple dollars to go buy nuts or something like that. So this challenge I decided to start at some point in November. I can't remember the exact day, but oh, no, 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 that's a lie. I started it in October. I did my first video 1 month ago. So in the first week of November, announcing it. And really, it's, I just kind of wanted to see if anybody wanted to do it again, to challenge themselves, not because I'm a leader or because I'm going to tell you what to do or how to do it. And if you do decide to go to a store, I'm not going to, like, oh, shame on you. It's not about that at all. I think that we all should be challenging ourselves in whatever ways that we feel are right for us at the time. And for me, considering the times we live in, I just like to know how self sufficient I am or can be, or how dependent I am. And I am not a fan of dependency and entitleism. And I kind of think that, and I'm not pointing fingers when I talk about, right, entitled shit, right? I used to be an entitled little princess. When growing up in San Diego, I had no idea that food grew from the ground. I didn't even think about it, right? I just expected everything I wanted to be in a store or a restaurant at any time without putting any effort towards it, right? Other than going to work and getting a paycheck. Okay, so these days, clearly, my I've been on this path a while, and self-sufficiency is my number one goal. So it's important to me to kind of gauge where I'm at. And I thought that this challenge would help me. I mean, it would help me see where I'm at. Plus, I don't care who you are. In my homelessness, even, I had food I never ate, right? Even as a poor single mother in a cockroach ridden apartment, there was still food in the back of the shelves that were never touched. There was freezer burned food in the back of the freezer that was never touched. And oh, that's not good enough. I deserve to just be able to go get some Chilean sea bass right now, or Australian rock lobster, or jumbo sea scallops and things. Yeah, I was a pretty, um I don't basically, I kind of thought that I should eat as if I was in a fine dining restaurant every day of my life. Okay? So, yeah, when I talk shit about being entitled, it's not because I'm trying to put anyone down, it's because I'm trying to encourage others to be less dependent, right? I still eat like I work or eat in a fine dining restaurant every day. anytime I want, right? I just do it all myself and I do it the healthy way. So again, my path isn't your path. I'm not, saying you should do this, but for those of you that have or are, I would love to hear how it's going for you. And I've been taking notes of most of the food that I have eaten in this last month just to kind of gauge and maybe give you all a few ideas of the variety, right? That we can have doing this. So, let's see. Love Cat, you're doing awesome. As another cat came back. Allie, the talk shoe days. That's insane. Louis B and Iconoclast. Those are old names. Too bad Louis went to the dark side though, because he used to be pretty funny and he was really good. Misty Moon, longtime listener. Well, thank you so much for being here. Love you, Christie, but I love my Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. You can love that. But I'm just saying, like, I'm doing this because I want to know how I'm going to fare if I didn't have access to those things, which technically I don't. I I don't even know where the nearest one would be, maybe 2 hours away. So just moving out to the country to begin with was, I had to just get used to doing with less. And I spent like the first year and a half, like trying to eat all local only, like only. And then the last year, I've been like, oh, stores are still open. I can have some ahi, or I can have some shrimp, or, things like that. And as a result of me doing the local eating thing, like I ended up eating things that I used to turn my nose up at, right? Like pork or whatever. But then I had neighbors giving it to me from their backyard. So I'm like, okay, thanks. I guess I need to learn how to utilize this. Or even things like ground beef and things that were not part of my diet before when I was a perfect people eater. So, again, and for those of you that like, oh, well, you grow it or you can afford it or whatever. I live at less than poverty level income. I live like a queen because the way I manage my money and the fact that I do more for myself than probably 10 normal people combined, right? And that's my whole point. Like, if I don't want to support the Department of them and their wars and their rapes, child trafficking, all of that stuff, then I can't give them my dollars, right? And as a result, I don't really make dollars and I'm not really allowed to be in that system, but I am much happier, healthier. I'm not dependent. And guess what? When we have power outages or storms or crises or whatever, I don't have to cry. I don't have to panic. I don't have to be like, oh my gosh, they don't have toilet paper. Or, oh my gosh, I can't get potatoes or garlic in the store. Or all of those things that people cry over. Like, I was literally watching so-called spiritually aware people, like literally having meltdowns because they couldn't find their favorite baby wipe or their, what are those like wet towel things? And like, serious? Like, I'm old enough to know when we used towels and washed them or rinsed them out and wrung them out, right? So, I personally, again, nothing I do or say is because of a political agenda or or any of that. I hate them all. And I live way more green than any of these lying bitches. Okay. And I do it because it makes me feel good, not because I'm trying to get brownie points from people who don't care. Right. So, yeah, I mean, if you're into wet wipes and throwing them out in a landfill, I swear to God, it's totally fine. That's you and your karma. I personally care about what makes me feel good. And when I'm responsible for my own trash and my own food and my own health, I feel better. I used to be, again, for those of you who are new or you're just showing up and you think that I'm like some Johnny come lately or that I'm just talking shit that I never lived. I used to live the other way. I was the entitled cunt princess that like was completely dependent on others for everything and didn't give a care in the world, right? And I didn't like it. I because it didn't work for me. I had to trust every plumber, every mechanic, every person in a restaurant, every food provider, like everything. And given the life that I've lived, I've seen that it's super uncomfortable for me to trust everybody else to take care of my own best interest because it never happened once. And when I was trusting doctors and their drugs, I was sick all the time. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I was having strokes. I was allegedly having cancer. I had autoimmune. I couldn't see. I was wearing diapers. Like, okay, when I've taken more responsibility for myself, life got better for me. Again, it's not for everyone. So, blah, blah, blah. All right. That means, we raised 3 giant turkeys last year and are still using the broth I made from them. And we harvested 5 chickens this year. I managed to grow 47 pounds of onions. Wow. And tomatillos for chili. That is amazing. Excellent job there, Love Cat. Right? Like, doesn't it feel good to just challenge yourself and see what you can do? And, I haven't done that. You want to know why? Because I'm still too big of a chicken shit to kill my own meat. Thankfully, I have neighbors that do. So I'm still reliant on that, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I could kill a motherfucker, human or otherwise. But yeah, like I can skin and gut and clean a fish. And that's kind of where my self sufficiency in that department ends. And that's kind of why I didn't eat meat at all. Because I'm like, if I'm too chicken or entitled to do it myself, like if I can't do it, why should I expect somebody else to? And so all of these little parts of me are part of my evolution. I don't know if I'll ever be strong enough to kill and clean my own meat, but I'm also fine with never eating meat again. But fortunately, again, where I live, there's clean meat all around, and I'm super grateful. So as long as they're bringing it this way, then, or willing to trade or whatever. Okay, so I eat locally. Even my flour and like beans and also comes locally. So rice, things like that. I've pretty much escaped the pantry bear out here, but we've been living off rabbits and eggs primarily all year. Haven't been able to grow much veg. Hey man, like that is self-sufficiency. That's amazing. And again, that's why I'm doing the no grocery store challenge, because I want to see what I can do. Or where I'm lacking. And yeah, I'm already lacking in the do your own meat thing, but whatever. So you're confident you won't need to resort to cannibalism? I'm not against it. I'm looking forward to harvesting our ramblings. Wow. That's incredible. I have so much respect for people who can do that. And it's funny when just because I don't eat a lot of meat, people are always like, I'm sorry, Christy. I killed a deer I'm like, what? Dude, anybody, like, what do you mean? Like, if you shared it with me, I'd eat it too, right? But just because I'm not badass enough to do it myself doesn't mean I'm against it. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're feeding yourself, you have my utmost respect. And maybe one of these days I'll be as cool as you, Love Cat. But yeah, I love my animals, like, I became friends with them and cuddled with them, and so now after a few years, I'm realizing that that's not the way to go, right? So maybe things will be different, in the future, and I really should be, eventually, but whatever. When I do start killing and cleaning my own birds or goats or this and that, you'll be the first to know. Um, that yeah, that is awesome though, your turkeys and your broth. I do have a little bit of canned how do I do this? You can't really see like oh shoot, behind the door, but yeah, there's oh yeah, under the furniture, the closet. I don't have a pantry, so again, I have to get creative and just find spot. I have food storage in the bathroom closets, bedroom closets, underneath furniture that's tall enough for jars. And that's what I have, and that's what I do. So, okay, we haven't tasted them yet, but I love the taste of lamb. Oh my gosh. Local, delicious. Actually, I do have a little bit that somebody gave me in my freezer. We did a trade for my product, so but I was holding on to it for a friend that visits every so often who she's like, "You know that thing you made 8 years ago? I've been craving it ever since." So, I've kept that in the back of the freezer to wait for her to get here so I can make her that dish again. Um, it got cold so fast, I didn't get a chance to plant garlic. Well, that's okay. Even if you missed it, you can get it early spring. So that's a thing about like gardening. They're like, "Oh, well, it's supposed to be in October and I didn't do it, therefore I can't, and I missed the boat," and then give up, right? But don't do that, especially things with like onions and garlic. You could, or potatoes even, you could put them in the ground anytime, unless you're like super far north, maybe like Sandra or a couple other people are. The potatoes should overwinter, especially if you have them covered up enough, straw, mulch, etc. Um, my onion and garlic thing, I don't really do planting as recommended. I plant them all the time. So, like if I go eat an onion or pick an onion, I just cut off the bottom, put it back in the ground, and then at some point in the future, that's like 4 to 6 new onions, right? Um, Maybe it's the lazy way, but it works for me. It was just too much pressure to just you have to have this in the ground by this day and that by that and I experienced how it made me feel like a failure, right? By not being able to reach these dates or do everything all at once or the same time everyone else is. So don't worry, if you didn't get it in on time. There'll still even if you I mean, I got a bunch of garlic out there and I didn't plant it. I mean, technically I did years ago, but yeah, and if you don't harvest your bulb, well, then you might have like 8 more bulbs next season, right? So, oh man, though, fresh, homegrown garlic. Yeah, so I did spend a lot of time this year, like trying to dehydrate everything I could. Hot peppers, sweet peppers, of course, onions, garlic, watermelon, grapes, pears, things like that from I think, yeah, we're out of pears already. There's still some grapes that are basically raisins, and I do still have dehydrated watermelon and all that other stuff. Um, but yeah, so getting back to the challenge, I guess I've pretty much explained why I'm doing it. Hey, Dominic. Um, let's see. Processing meat is a whole process. Yeah, homegrown food is the best. Hubby kills them, but I'm there helping. 170 pounds of rabbit. Holy crap. Okay, well, just in case. Love Cat or anyone else who is living this lifestyle or have things like that. I mean, I don't know how long it'll take you to eat 170 pounds, but if you're into doing trades, I've never had a rabbit. And yeah, I would gladly pay you or trade you if you would like to do some food exchanges. Just putting it out there. My email is ozarkschurchofnature@gmail. Okay. So, and about the rabbit, I've seen the broom trick on YouTube. Like, let me know what you do, if it's easy, if it's gross, if it's hard, if you know, and actually, I'd really love to know how you transitioned to that because I know you weren't, I don't think you were doing that when you lived in California. Um, so yeah, I'd love to hear about your transition from going to the store for everything to killing and skinning and doing that yourself. So it's the easiest. You just pull it off inside out like a tube. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll totally check it out. Hi, Nick. Brian, thanks for coming back. You don't know why they took one of my videos down, dude. They've taken hundreds of my videos down. And most recently, they took a 10 or 12-year-old video down of somebody saying that mercury is a neurotoxin. And then they recently took down one of my videos talking about when I had uh the silver filling, the mercury fillings taken out. And then they took down my live video about God. It was called Need More God. I don't know if you remember that. And that was really me answering a question from somebody that did change his life, which was super cool. He hated me when I said what I had to say, but then he called like a year later and he's like, wow, I totally get it. And thank you so much. And my life is amazing now. So there's that. All right. Last minute spuds. Great. Yeah, they do. They're taking down all my older ones and some of the newer ones. And I don't even find out till way later. It's kind of lame. Um, cool. You'll do an exchange. That'd be awesome. Uh, so I don't know. I know a chick that they harvest like birds and bunnies, ducks and stuff like that, and she sends meat to people like that frozen. It's just wrapped really well and it says dog food on or something like that on the outside. And when I ship things that or frozen or what, they might not be frozen when they get there, but those gel packs, you know, so priority shipping is kind of the best way to go because it gets there in 2 days, and whatever you fit in that box, frozen or not, as long as it's packed well and nothing will be leaking, then whatever you can fit in that size box, it's one price. So whether it's 3 ounces or 70 pounds. And yeah, some of the boxes can hold 70 pounds. So I don't know, kind of look into that, but canned is good too. But I don't know. I'd kind of like to see what it would be like to just because canned meat obviously is already cooked, and I'd like to kind of see what it'd be like to just like eat a rabbit or what to do. And if you don't mind sharing with me some of your favorite recipes or way to eat it, you would be educating me. So I would appreciate that. You want some Jerusalem artichokes. I do still have some. They've gone fast. There's been like locals that I never even met or heard of in my life that I guess saw it on Facebook and they just showed up. And so I, oh, they erased my urine therapy ones too. Wow. The pranks on the street and the cops, that was so awesome and fun and hilarious. Yeah, well, hey, that's so cool that some of y'all have been around for a long time. But okay, and Fargo Lefty, hey, another person. Okay, cool. I hope it's all good. I don't know. So those were the good old days. By the way, I did go up to Springfield one night with a friend since I'm back in the Ozarks, and I kind of thought it was cool to like go people watch and check out the church wars and stuff, but it's kind of like Mad Max up there these days, and all of those businesses that were previously in those videos are no longer there, just completely just shut down, and no artists on the street like they used to be, or the singers, or I don't know. So, whatever. I did get back up there once, and it was a first Friday, like it was back in the day, but whatever. Okay. So, I'm gonna like I said, I for my no grocery shop diet, I've been writing the things down in my notes here. So I'll just share with you some of the things that I have been able to eat without going to a grocery store. And obviously, I have been growing and prepping and trading and filling my freezer and jars and stuff like that for a minute, right? I probably if my freezer was empty, I probably wouldn't have been like, oh, that sounds like a great idea to go 4.5 months without going to a grocery store in the coldest time of year, right? So, um, I mean, I don't know if I'm prepared enough to last that long, but if not, then I just have to get creative. We got weeds and stuff like that. So, I'll read to you some of the things I wrote down for the month of November that I have been blessed to eat. And it's not just me I'm feeding, I am feeding friends and family ish friends, right? Like a whole family yesterday, or someone else last week who I pack up their meals for a month at a time. I have fed other local people multiple things. And of course, I gift a lot of my dessert food to anyone who will take it, even if you're just on the side of the road. Here, you want some baklava or pumpkin cheesecake. So, that being said, um, here's some of the things I'm eating. If you have any questions about any of them or whatever, let me know. But let's see, sourdough crackers, and of course, sourdough bread, which I make maybe once a week, once every other week. The crackers are super yummy. I've been making them pretty often, and I love dipping them in homemade ranch dressing. Uh, it's super delicious. Of course, the sunchokes, roasted and raw. And let me just save you some bowel ergonomics. So if if you don't want to bleed out maybe not bleed, but if you don't want diarrhea and major stomach pain and you don't love farting, if you're going to roast your artichokes, your Jerusalem artichokes, you want to boil them first, like parboil them with vinegar or lemon juice. And that will, what's that called? Inulin in it that makes that happen, but it's also responsible for its sweet flavor, right? So parboil them first, then roast them. Otherwise, make sure you're at home and super close to the toilet. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. So if you're constipated or you're trying to get rid of some shit, then don't boil them. But believe you me, you'll fart like crazy. You'll be like the proudest 12-year-old guy there ever was. I like to fart, but like the stomach, it's like it's intense. So if you are going to roast your sunchokes, just saying, don't say I didn't warn you. All right. Pasta with roasted garlic marinara. I have some of that canned here, of course, from my homegrown. And then I use the same sauce to use the last of my rampicante, which is an Italian heirloom squash, and cream, of course. I also uh, turned another part of that into a creamy tomato sauce, so kind of like a la vodka or how vodka sauce or however they call it, but there was no vodka in it. Um, Rampicante and cream. Cranberry salads multiple times because it's just freaking delicious. And my friend that brought me more cranberries, I'm going to turn that into a jam. Um, Bread with cheese, bread with jam. I have, I don't know, maybe like 8 different kinds of jams by now. Salads with homemade croutons and dressings. I usually like to make, I mean, of course, anybody can make like a good Italian or Greek dressing or whatever, but sometimes I just want a nice, thick, and chunky blue cheese with lots of herbs and lemons. So I've been doing that. Um, so the salads, shrimp tacos, salsa, spaghetti nose, I call it. It's, I guess, eerily similar to spaghetti O's, but not made with O's, and it's like fresh and homemade. But I canned a bit of that. Um, Chili, peanut butter, banana, blueberry, cherry jam bread, pumpkin bread with cranberries and walnuts, apples and I said apples. So I canned a bunch of apples, like cinnamon apples, kind of like a pie filling. So I also made a pumpkin bread with apples and pecans. And then apple pie filling in a tortilla because it's just super delicious. Roasted butternut, roasted pumpkin, and I just turn that into kind of like a pie filling, or sometimes I just cut it in half, sprinkle a little sugar, bake it, take it out, and just mush it and eat it because it's just delicious. So not fancy, but all of my pie fillings, say like pumpkin or butternut, they're roasted, and I try to make them kind of, as brown as possible. And the roasted seeds, of course, which I love so much. I could literally eat like roasted pumpkin or butternut seeds forever. It keeps skipping on me. Where was I? Okay, butternut, the pumpkin. Okay. Of course, yummy herbal teas with ginger. And I wrote watermelon and lemon. And that's because I got like a box of lemons from a jeweler. And of course, I squeeze them and then I turn them into ice cubes and stick them in the freezer. And then the peels get dried either for tea later or for shaving or to make an oil. And then I also make a tincture with the peels and a vinegar with the peels. It keeps skipping. Okay. So, and the watermelon, I do the same thing. I squish up my watermelon and stick it in ice cubes and then bag them up. And then I dehydrate watermelon too. So that's why I never buy things like watermelon or anything like that from a store. I get what I have here, or maybe 1 or 2 to supplement from the farm stand that's also grown locally. There, it messed up again. Here we go. Okay, blue cheese dressing. I think I already said that. Alfredo sauce, Cajun ahi tuna, baby. And I love making like a Cajun fettuccine. And sometimes I just eat it plain depending on how I feel, or if I have any leftover ahi tuna, I'll put that in there. Homemade sodas, of course. I'm sure you've seen those videos or heard me talk about them. Buckeyes, which are basically peanut butter chocolate balls. And I still have a bunch in the freezer. They're delicious. Peanut butter chocolate cookies. Oh, what? Skipped again. Okay. Homemade sodas, Buckeyes. Baklava, ginger snaps, fries. Roasted and mashed potatoes, bang bang shrimp, and I do make the best in the world. So whoever's coming over for dinner, I may have more. So I could probably make that maybe one or two more times. Maybe I don't even actually know for sure. Um, and then my sauce. Okay, after I'm done with this, then I'll tell you how I make this if you want to know. Otherwise, yeah, because I'm not a fan of talking to myself. Oh, I wrote peanut butter chocolate cookies twice, I guess, because I made some more yesterday for the kids. Pumpkin cheesecake with my roasted, and New England clam chowder. And that's all I wrote down. Obviously, coffee, and I may have missed a meal or two or something, maybe. But sometimes, like, I'll make these yummy meals and then I'll have leftovers, or sometimes I just want bread, bread with Parmesan and butter, or bread dipped in blue cheese, or bread with jam, or just sometimes that's all I feel like. Did I put my garlic roast mashed potatoes? I don't know. Anyways, so I may have left some things out. And if you are interested in my bing bing shrimp sauce. So first of all, like, I used to not eat fried food at all, and especially like in restaurants or like frozen stuff. It's like the breading's like this and then whatever's in there is like that, right? And it's disgusting. To me, it is, or cornmeal, or just all that thick stuff. So if you want like super light fried, like so you don't ruin the flavor of a shrimp or something like that, um, then I dust it just in flour and cornstarch. And then if you want a little extra flavor, like a homemade Cajun or like a little garlic, salt or something like that. And then my sauce, I'll either start with, I have a few different types of salsas there, and then what I call an enchilada sauce, and then the hot sauce, which I've never been like a Tabasco kind of person or hot sauce kind of person, but I had a bunch of roasted sweet and hot peppers and or I had a bunch of sweet and hot peppers, so I decided to roast them with a bunch of garlic. And I only had a few tomatoes that day, so I turned that into, if I was going to make a Tabasco sauce thing, what it would taste like. So I'll use that and mix it with mayo. And by the way, mayo is so easy, and I'm sure Love Cat and many of you know, just an egg and an oil and a lemon and whatever. If you want a little mustard powder or a little salt or whatever you want in it, right? I like garlic. So I'll put either that hot sauce or my enchilada sauce or my roasted salsa in with the mayo, and then I'll add some honey to so you get like the sweet spice, and then sometimes depending on which of the sauces I use and how much fire's in it, I might have to add a little extra garlic or a little extra cayenne or some, but it's literally that simple. And it is so bomb diggity. It is. My mouth is watering right now just thinking about it. So, um, yeah, that's all I wrote down there. And I did get kind of baklava out after eating that every day for a while. So that's when I started just like bringing it with me and give, post office or wherever, whoever. And then I finally gave the last like whole tray away uh, to my friend that he drives a truck for a month at a time, and I fill that freezer and such. So, all right, let me catch up on comments. The Brits call that taking the piss. Even when Celia farts. Okay, I remember seeing videos of you setting up a tent. Yep, I was homeless 6.5 years before here. So, yeah, I made my little hay bale tent dome, which worked amazingly despite the advice of all the onlookers who know better than me. And that was part of my trying to see what I can withstand or sustain or tolerate. Because even then, I had a job and they would all like make fun of me. Why don't you just go rent a hotel room and be like a normal person? Why don't you challenge yourself like somebody who can grow, you know? But yeah, they would literally make fun of me for that. I actually felt that it toughened me up. It made me stronger and wiser. I highly recommend it. And the fact that I succeeded by keeping it completely dry and warm, and that was also a winter, I kind of feel pretty good about it. Not to say I want to live that way again, but I know I can. And I know that I have the skills to make anything work. Of course, whether I have a tent or not, like I could easily just go build a shelter with just what's in the forest. Again, not because I want to, but I know that if I have to, I can. And so a lot of those things from my 30-day challenge that turned into 6.5 years back in 2013 and 14, the hay bale tent dome, stuff like that, those also were challenges to myself to see what I'm made of, right? I didn't want to be an entitled fucking cunt princess my whole life. I didn't want to be dependent, especially on people I know are trying to kill me, right? Or poison me. Or after 35 years of sickness, going to doctors and doing everything they say, like, I would think that eventually people, if their brain wasn't completely fried because of the drugs, would be like, huh, this ain't working. And at least for me, when I realized that it wasn't working, I knew that there was nothing I could do that would hurt me as bad as 35 years of following doctors did, right? And I was prepared to die over it. And I didn't. And I wanted to die. I begged to die. I literally offered to pay people to kill me with my own gun and give them all my valuables. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, all of this didn't just happen because everything was easy or like, oh, you want to be off grid? Here's all of the, you know, $100,000 in to no, I did it with a little tiny garden battery and a 500-watt inverter. And then I got 2 marine batteries and then a 1,800-watt generator, which I ended up giving to somebody else that was living that way. And you know what I mean? So I could like cry and complain about how difficult it is, or I could just revel in the fact that I'm learning new skills that will set me up for any possible scenario, right? Like, doom and gloom and listening to all the what ifs and that, which I don't anymore because it poisons your mind. But if any of those scenarios are real, I'm not going to sit here like a little princess waiting for somebody to save me, you know? So, um, that's pretty much all I have to share. I just wanted to do an update. I'll probably do a no grocery store update every month once a month. I think that's about fair. And I'll try to fit in a couple other topics here and there. Oh man, did I miss November? Let me check my channel. I may have missed my Ozarks Church of Nature November update. I hope not, but if I did, please forgive me. I'm doing my best. Videos. Oh, yeah, I totally missed it. November went by oh, no, I do have a November. Okay, sorry. I have no clue what I'm talking about. But you knew that. I know you're only here for the entertainment. So um yeah, so that's it. I just wanted to share that just because I'm doing this doesn't mean that I'm like starving or eating horrible food. I'm still eating gourmet food. I have millions, I mean like tons, not of herbs and flavorings and I don't know if I have enough coffee, but I guess we'll find out. If I have to do without, oh well. You know what I mean? I can do that. I don't have to have my favorite comforts and everything. And I'm not sure if I discussed last time about quitting smoking, which I didn't smoke cigarettes, but still. Uh, and I still grow herbs for smoking, and I'll have one in the morning or one in the evening, you know, medicinally or whatever, or just, but I felt that I was too attached to that and too dependent, and there really was no reason because it wasn't even me. I was just it was a time killer and a trauma coper, and I trauma coper and I just felt that it was time for me to deal with my own traumas without and grief without crutches. So again, not telling anyone else what to do, but I like to know that I can do without my addictions or favorite food or dude, I haven't even had ice cream and I have no idea how long. But if you are local and you feel like putting a Bluebell Rocky Road in my freezer to trade for something. Yeah. Oh, but I was talking about the flavorings and the herbs and such. So even if I only had rice to eat every single day, it could taste different every single day for the whole rest of this 3.5 more months or something. Um, for those who don't know, extracts are tinctures, right? So whether it's fennel or mandarin orange or basil or rosemary or lemon or garlic or right. So I have all of that at my disposal. So not just the dried herbs that I've been growing and harvesting to make flavorful, even things that I don't have. So, like, I even have a carob or a cacao, cinnamon, anise, clove, almond, um, obviously vanilla, and like the normal ones. But yeah, so again, even if I do run out of food in the freezer, at least I will have rice that I could flavor different every day. One day could be cinnamon and sugar, and the next day could be, I don't know, cayenne. I have a cayenne tincture, you know. So even without the food, I can still flavor stuff and make it delicious. So let's see. 10 years ago. Yeah, so the tent was, the winter of 2015. It was, like, right after I started walking again, um, and yeah, my first job was in Whidbey Island, and then I went over to the peninsula, and yeah, it was August, I think is when I met and then I started building in September. Yeah, um 2015? Yeah, that's a long time ago, huh? And yeah, whoever you all are. I mean, obviously, some of them I know you, but the other names I don't recognize because I'm sure it's not your first or last name. But I do want to thank you for being along for this crazy journey. Um, I do feel that I have been blessed to grow quite a bit and grow more into the person I want to be. and leave behind kind of just the whole dependency thing just makes me super uncomfortable. And again, that's only because I was dependent on everyone and everything else. And I mean, not just for food, but for knowledge, or, I had experts telling me about my body. And like that just seems super disconnected from who and what we are and what we're here to be. So for me, I am always going to listen to my intuition. That's still small voice, which I believe is real God, not that my beliefs matter. Um, and again, nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with politics. It's just what makes me feel good. I don't like the idea of shitting in somebody else's living room, right? Or just like I still don't have trash collection. I try. My friend does, take some. We kind of exchange food and trash a little bit, right? But I usually don't have trash unless I have like visitors or, a bunch of packages, which of course I try to save the packaging. But if I'm not ordering bottles to make my mytrueessence.net products or anything like that, then there's none of that extra, packaging stuff. So, yeah, let me see. I get, yeah, that's all. So if y'all have any questions, I'm going to give you 60 seconds while I go pee. And no, I'm not going to do it here, but I am going to run away and I'll come back. And if you have any questions, I'll read the chat and I will answer all your questions. And if not, then I'll just say thanks again and bye, but I'll be right back. I gotta go. Okay, so I don't know if that was a whole 60 seconds or not, but yay. What was I was just thinking of something. Oh, Butters. Hey, baby. Um, oh, thank you, Love Cat. What's the lamb in the freezer recipe? It's really nothing that exciting, honestly, but I mean, so I just made a flatbread. It's like years ago. So it was just a flatbread with like garlic and lemon and rosemary and mushroom, like nothing, but she loved it and she brought it up last time she was here. So I just decided it would be cool to acquire it so I could make that for her again. But being Greek, I do like, I ain't against some nice lamb chops and stuff. I just, I can't go to the grocery store or do anything like that. And I don't know a local doing lamb. But the lady that gave me the lamb got it from a local, she's a beef person, raises cattle. And yeah, she got some lamb and then we traded for some products. By the way, if you do want quality herbs, mytrueessence.net, or skincare with side effects of, say, curing cancer or shingles or staph or things like that, mytrueessence.net. I won't cry if I had your support. In fact, it would probably make me feel less invisible and give me more of a reason to continue and cry less about quitting because nobody cares about real medicine. Um, but yeah, myterescence.net. What's your repeat your email? Ozarks Church of Nature at gmail.com. And the Ozarks Church of Nature also has a fake book page and a twatter. Um, and then, yeah, I guess that's it. And I just show a little bit here on this YouTube once in a while. My True Essence also has a fake book page. I try to post there. It just depends. I went several months without any social media this year. And then when I went back, I started to try to post like once a week. So I do that, or sometimes it might be more than once a week if I'm feeling inspired or bored or just want to tell someone to suck my dick on social media for fun. Um, that happens too. So, Night Dragon, how's it going? I love that name. Do you harvest your own clams for the chowder? You're an asshole. So, it's so funny. The people I cooked for last night, the dude was like, "Did you harvest your own clams?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Well, so I know that you like to make all your own homemade or homegrown food. I just thought maybe you went out to the river or something." And so apparently there are clams in the Ozarks. Learn something new every day. No, I did not harvest the clams. I bought them from a restaurant supply store. It's called websterrent.com like a year and a half ago. Uh, so I still have a couple cans of that that I can definitely make more clam chowder with in the future if I like. But yeah, apparently they're super big and edible. Yeah, the dude that was here last night that harvested his own, he said they were like as big as gooey ducks or like horse clams, and that they just like hang out in the water. But the river, he said, so I've only been clam digging once in my life, and that was in Washington. And there is a 30-second video if you want to laugh super hard. It's called Most Hilarious Clam Dig Ever. That was my first time. So I thought they were just under the sand in the beach, or I guess there's like mussels and other shellfish that grow on the rocks. But he said here in the Ozarks, they're in rivers, they like running water, and that you just have to go in like knee deep and reach your hand, and if you feel something hard, it's either a rock or a clam. But he said they were gigantic like this, and he made clam chowder with it. I haven't tasted his, and but I did tell him I need them to take me and teach me how to harvest local clams because I think that would be bad ass. So I hope to be that cool one day, but no, they came from a can from websterrent.com, but I'll still put my clam chowder up against any clam chowder in the world because I am a super humble, awesome chef. I don't have to be humble on that, right? Like, not that I do everything great, but cooking and medicine making, I do. So I can say I'm really good at that. That doesn't mean I don't suck at everything else. So let's see. Do you harvest your own clams? Where's the lamb? Okay, Greek baby, go Greek. Oh, really? We said Greek at the same time. That's awesome. Great Greek minds. Ali, yay. I'm broke ass or I'd buy some. No, but you know what? We can trade, right? I'm broke ass too, but you have 170 pounds of meat that I doubt you would eat. within a year, right? Um, or whatever. But yeah, if you're into it, I'd love to trade. I've got all sorts of stuff and even more than what happened. Oh, the I don't know. Something happened and it went black, but it's back. Yeah, so I would be more than happy to trade with anyone. Really, that if you make or grow or do your own whatever and you want a little mytorescence in your life or whatever, send me an email and let's do a trade or any kind of service, right? Because that's my money. Again, I don't make money. I don't have Clearly, I don't believe in theft, so I don't even have a government paycheck or any of that stuff or being poor. I think it's dumb. My own personal opinion again, but yeah. So, I mean, that's my currency. That's my money ish, right? My herbs and stuff. And your money is your bunnies and rams and all of that, right? So let's just Project Love Your Neighbor it and do what people used to do, right? Money's just dumb anyways. Like it's really become just numbers on a computer. I mean, granted, we need those numbers on a computer to pay bills and all of that kind of fun stuff. Ooh, speaking of bills. So I was having a car problem for years that somebody did. And I finally was like, is it just time to part it out? I've been looking for a used truck for 3 years. They were like 20 or years older, stinky, dirty, over 200,000 miles, and they still wanted like 25 grand and ridiculous stuff like that. So I did finally solve the car problem, but I do have my very first car payment of my life. So, yeah, I mean, I do have to make a little bit of cash here and there, right? But yeah, so anyone who is also hardworking and not getting paid for it, right? Because you're self-sufficient and whatever, then yeah, let's definitely trade. And if y'all have paychecks, we're going to trade cash because I gotta pay the mortgage, right? And now a car, which is scary as can be. Does your challenge allow you to order food online? I mean, so I guess we can, yeah, I guess, but I'm not going to. But if there was something that I really wanted, or like say I'm entertaining or something, I mean, I guess I could, but yeah, I don't want to, and I won't. But if I do, then I'll put it in my notes and I'll share it here with you. But yeah, I was going to try to because I like to order from that webstorrent.com like once a year, but I haven't ordered from them for it's probably been like 2 years now that I think about it. So I was trying to get like an order together, but then I decided on the challenge. So I'm not going to. Whatever I would want, if I can't do without for 3 more damn months, then fuck me, right? You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that I should be that. Aw, my first, yes, thank you. That is my first super chat. I don't don't even know how it is or how it works, but thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Wow. Um, so yeah, would it allow my challenge? Again, anyone else who's doing this with me, and I know there is at least one other person in Canada doing it, like nobody's gonna like grade us or fail us or put us in jail. So of course I could do anything I want anytime I want, but I don't want to. And then I guess maybe next summer I'll put together an order, but maybe I don't even need it because as time has gone by, right, I'm doing more for myself. And if I can be completely like, I don't have to have clams, right? Or anything. I liked it and I bought the clams actually. when it was before a visitor was coming from Washington who we used to eat clam chowder together all the time in the restaurant that we worked at. So even that was a special order. I wouldn't have bought it if it was just, for me or whatever. And if I run out, I run out. Then I have no more clam chowder. Oh well, you know. I don't even really know what other food I would order online. I did order in 2020. I ordered flour and sugar and beans and rice from them. Um, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Allie. Wow. And was your name Ali back then in Talk Shoe? And if you don't want to say, in public, I totally get it. I understand. Um, but yeah, I don't know what food I would order online. And if I can't make do with what I have, right? Like even my my spiced watermelon pineapple jam is like a chutney, right? So I can, and then with all the herbs and everything I have, I can do, make any type of flavor I want. And again, if I can't go 3 months, then, I guess I'm not as strong as I thought I was, right? Do you do McDonald's DoorDash? I think you know me better than that. I wouldn't eat McDonald's if you paid me. And truthfully, I literally would starve before I touched their food. So I may have talked about it in the past, but when I was young and they opened up the first McDonald's close to us, my mom was so excited. And I don't know if you're all old enough to remember, there was this thing called a McDLT, and it was like in styrofoam, which I hate, but it had like half of the burger here and then half the burger here. It was like lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and then the beef in the bun, I guess. And it was supposed to be like so cool, but I didn't even eat it back then. I went on strike. There were a couple times where I ate the filet of fish and then the apple pie. But other than that, I did not eat those nights. I don't know why I knew, but I did, and I trusted it. And, whether I knew internally or not, it still looked disgusting. I never ate ketchup or like, ooh, ground beef. And probably working in restaurants and knowing how many hands that shit touches, or like looking at it in a store and it's like product of US, Mexico, and Canada. Really? In that one little package? Fuck that shit. I will starve before I eat that. And that's a fact. And I've proven it. So, is there clams? Not bull testicles. Okay. Does your talent? I already read that. Are bull balls called sweet treats, sweet meat, sweet bread? I don't know. I haven't eaten any bull balls yet that I know of. And sweet bread, yeah, I make sweet breads like the banana. Let me see, what did I make this month? The pumpkin, and then I call it a peanut butter jelly bread, but it's really like a banana bread, a banana, peanut butter, and then I use one or two of my jams and swirl it all in there. And oh, it's so delicious. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for the support. And just, it's always awesome to see the familiar names and even ones from the past. And that you're still here, that's pretty cray. I guess I came out all right. I made it through the homelessness. I made it through the not being able to talk and walk. And I made it through being set up and facing 56 years in prison. And I think that's pretty cool. By the way, my 16-year anniversary from exposing the sex trafficking ring run by the cops and feds in San Diego was December 2nd. And if you want to learn a little bit more about that, that's in my gang stalking playlist, or a video from 3 years ago. What was it called? I just reposted it on Facebook and Twitter. Oh, it's called Sex Trafficking Ring in Your Own Backyard as a question. So, yeah, if you don't know about that and want to learn more about that, McDonald's, DoorDash, you freaking, that's disgusting. You literally, you could throw $1 million cash down here and I would not touch it. Absolutely not. Like, no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, no. I even did that 3 days, when they set me up and I was in jail for 3 days. I didn't touch anything. Not their food, not their water. Nope. I will starve literally to death before I eat their chemical fucking shit. I doubt we will eat the balls from our ramblings. I don't post videos on this channel if you wanna see our animals and stuff. Oh, that's you. Okay, because 'cause I've seen comments and I'm like, "This person sounds like they know me," but, and I don't remember everything. I do legit have some brain damage and, like, basically from was that 14 or 15? Like 15, everything was erased, and, so I don't remember everything and all that stuff. But thank you for reminding me that's you and where I can find you. Okay, because I've like put Love Cat and got it. All right, cool. And I just want to say to you, 1 million pumpkins, aka Love Cat, bad ass. Like, I am so impressed with all the changes you've made and like just building up to what you have and like making your own meat and raising. I just like congratulations and all of those I remember when you would always do like how many pounds of tomatoes you got this month or how many onions and I think that's so cool that you're still doing it. You got a flow chart. Me, I'm like, hey, I got some tomatoes. Like I don't even know how I would weigh or whatever. And plus I'm not really a list person, but I appreciate those of you who are because I need that, right? And yeah, and I think that's super cool because it's a way to like show your progress and me, I just try to remember it in my head, which really makes 0 sense at all, being like 8 strokes later, But whatever. I just figure the more I forget means I have more room for the good stuff. But if there's any more questions, please let me know. I won't run out. But I'm definitely winding up, because or winding down or see, I don't even ever say the right words, but I do want to thank you all for showing up not once, but twice tonight and getting through the difficulty and such. I would love to be able to announce the videos ahead of time, but we all know what happens when I do, or even if I just start one, like that's twice in a row that it cuts you all out and then makes me talk to myself and then it comes out as like a silent movie. So I don't want to, I mean, I don't like repeating myself and I don't like talking to myself. I'm maybe certified, but I'm not certifiable. Or maybe I'm certifiable and not certified or bona fide. I am definitely crazy, but not the kind that just talks to themselves for fun. There has to, I mean, at least one person, right? Like, is that too much to ask for? So, thank you again. And to those of you in the past, thank you. Like, what a super cool surprise. And how you would even come across me after being deleted 12 times since the talk shoe days. I mean, that's really cool. So I appreciate that. And anyone have any questions or suggestions or just want to say hi or whatever, it's Ozarks Church of Nature at gmail.com. And let's see, I'll give it 30 seconds if any, because there's probably a little delay for any other late questions that come up, and I'll answer them and say good night and good morning and good evening. And been in the truth movement since what is there's something in the way. I have to wait for the 2008. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't really belong to like any movements or anything. And unfortunately, throughout, I mean, it was them who, r- set me up and erased all my work and replaced it with slander. So, in my opinion, any movement has already been hijacked, but um yeah, so I mean names, some big names that people still look up to for information and such. But yeah, I mean, where do you think all the slander came from? And they proudly wrote their names. So yeah, that was the so-called truth movement. But really, it was all just woman talking, burn her. And and these same people proclaim to care about the girls and boys being trafficked. And but when there's a girl that shows up all the men that goes in there by herself, to try to save the girls, men get mad. But there's the question, why would they want to erase all that? Why would they have not wanted you to know? And what would have happened? What would it look like today if you would have heard me back in 2005, 6, and 7 when this was happening? Or, you know what I'm saying? So, what do you think about Bill Cooper? I think he's dead. Uh, but I but he wrote really good stuff. I wasn't really around and listening to enough to like make a judgment or anything. Um I happen to know somebody whose family was a sheriff who was there when they killed him. He maybe didn't pull the trigger, but he was involved, and I'm positive that they wouldn't have wanted him dead if he was lying, right? The liars get to live and they only censor or kill or whatever the people that are the most helpful. My opinion, I wasn't there, so I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, they let any jackass can go up there and lie and get promoted and, and get rich and like have millions of followers, right? If they work for an agency. That's a fact. Like any name you're allowed to hear, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, works for somebody. They're on the payroll for somebody. So, um, I believe that he probably didn't work for somebody or that wouldn't have happened. Same with Randy Weaver, which I also got to know personally when I first. Yeah, Alex Jones payroll. Absolutely. ONI, man. Like, I know, like, it's easy to say everybody's CIA or this and that because that's like the most common word put out there, but he's actually ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence. So, and I mean, it's so easy to see all of his ties to the ADL and just, and I especially love when he makes like $19.2 million in 1 year on his tax return, but he needs more money bombs to help him pay for divorce because poor little guy is just, but whatever, they're useful tools. And for the most part, and I remember all those names, man. In fact, I was with Dave up in Sturgis, South Dakota for what was called Freedom Fest, but that totally got hijacked, right? None of the feds ever wanted to keep in touch with me, right? The payroll people, they're just like, "Oh shit, we can't shut her up and we can't move her to our side." So, yeah, I was always like blacklisted or just treated basically like, I mean, redheaded stepchild, or I don't know what the appropriate terms are these days. I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't be racist if everything else is, right? Yeah, clearly there's no real militias. That's why if there was a real militia that wasn't on a payroll, would they have tolerated the C-19 BS? Would they have tolerated mandatory drugs and injections? Would they have tolerated I mean, it's just anyone with the brain, it's so easy to see, right? So if there were any real militias, these politicians would not be doing the things they are. So I'm glad that dudes can take pictures of themselves with their guns and post it on Facebook and pretend that they're out here to help us or save us all. But I'll tell you what, there has not been one man that has ever saved me. And remember when there was back in an opportunity, I'm facing 56 years in prison for exposing a sex trafficking ring run by the cops. Where were the big, strong men? Right? I had some of those people on my show. They're like, whatever, wannabe militia people or the wannabe freedom fighter, savior type people. Not one of them helped me. They all joined the club, slandered me, beat me, like literally chased me out of 30 freaking towns. They know people on both sides. So even if they're pretending to say, for example, real life example, pretending to be like a right wing or conservative or whatever the word is, like, anti-government. No, guess what? They can call up their friends for BLM and say, "Hey, that girl's transgender. Go harass her." Like they did that. Okay? And not not limited to that, or that girl's a racist, go get her. Or the pro-war people were friends with the anti-war people, but they're making those calls and doing that stuff in the middle of the night, right? What they say on the radio or on YouTube or on Facebook is not who they are in real life, and why they all had to pile on me and why I was facing 56 years is because guess what? I still have all the evidence. I still know where the bodies are buried. Mhm. Yeah. Even in my homelessness, I was able to preserve it thanks to friends in different parts, even after they killed my 2 best friends, right? Yeah, that were the only ones that were helping me. I still was able to preserve that shit. Why? Because it's important. I know there's one person out there that does care about actual truth, how ugly or pretty or whatever. So, yeah, no, nobody covered the story. No one in mainstream alternative, like, dude, Alex Jones had me go to his office back in 2007 for my videos and for intelligence and things so he could make his own border video that he was never at or never worked at, right? They all pretended to be my friends. Like everything I speak about these people came from me, not from a blog, right? My own personal experience. They all set me up. They were all working in cahoots. All the people that pretend on YouTube or radio that, oh, he's not one of us. Bullshit. It's just like the politicians and all that. It's just a game. They pretend to, just so they can keep people pitted against each other on the so called two sides. GCN. No, it's all bullshit. Bullshit. Again, if there was a real person, they would have covered it. And the only people that covered it were, again, people that were not allowed to be seen or heard or have more than 200 views. Mhm. And anyone that tried to, they always had the flying monkeys, like they were right there. Like, it was so crazy that even if I posted a comment on somebody else's video on YouTube and, like, in the form of a question, like, not even a statement, in the form of a question, there would be, like, 80 replies condemning me. Right? And then, yeah, that was that. So, yeah, they're all fake. And I am so glad you know. And obviously, there's nobody that could tolerate listening to me at all if you didn't already know, right? Because otherwise, you're just going to get mad. Like, oh, why are you talking about my hero like that? I sent him all my money. Yeah, I'm just supposed to be some woman, crazy woman going around and just interfering with all these big, strong men. But again, where are they? They're just wearing fucking costumes on a fucking screen after they put their fucking makeup on. Like, have you seen any of these idiots in real life? Like, demonic. You can't hide your demons in real life. You can use lights and makeup and to pretend on YouTube, but nah, they are not. None of them are who they pretended to be or want people to think they are. So, yeah, this live was just recommended to me, and oh, well, that's cool. Thank you, Michael, and welcome. We're totally just ending it, but I hope to see you again. And unless you have a question in the next couple minutes before I get through this. Um, yep, payroll. Yep, Allie knows what's up. So there was a problem with the server, and I have to keep. Oh, wow, of course. Militia Montana, right? All of those. I don't know if you remember back in the day where they were coordinating everybody to move there and their underground bunkers and the whole Vermont thing. No, it was all fake. It was all a setup. And the real people that like gave everything up to go be a part of this real militia, they'll protect us. I'd like to know how they are today, but I tried. I tried warning people, but instead they just got mad, erased me, and slandered me, and tried to lock me up. 50 fucking 6 years in prison. Do you know any rapists facing that kind of time? Child rapists, pedophiles, abusers, murderers. Do you know? Name one that's facing that many years in prison. But a girl talking, not giving injections to healthy children, and homeschooling. 56 years in prison? Think about that. Why would they do that? Yeah. Okay, Power Hour. Yeah, I remember that. I don't, yeah. They didn't cover it. They knew me in person. They didn't cover it. They knew I had to run from San Diego in a wheelchair. Didn't cover it, didn't care. Like, nope. Like, they know. And sometimes people will contact me, but then they just like ghost because probably their boss or somebody said, oh, you can't have her on your show or you can't talk to her. That still happens to this day. Uh huh. And there's still people like in the community, like hiding out, acting like, oh, there's that racist child abuser. You can't support her. Oh, yep, they do that. But again, I'll ask, look at my reviews and testimonials and the people's lives I've changed and lives I've literally saved. Where else do you get that? Do you get that from these people? No. So, whatever. People capable of knowing truth will know truth, right? And it's the people talking the loudest and having to do videos every single day. Look at me, or 5 times a day, or even three. They're just trying to take up your time to distract you and get you to think that you know them, right? Or try to act like real people. They're not real people. They are all on the payroll. Yeehaw. Yep, I remember that name too. Okay, I was too young for that, but I remember Dave Von Kleist, one of the leaders. He had, yep, that was his name. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know if I really got my vengeance, so to speak, but I know that me being alive today and being even able to talk and walk, they hate it. And they have to live looking over their shoulder. When is she going to release this stuff? When is she going to write that book? When is she going to expose us in a way that people are going to be allowed to hear? Right? See, I can sleep at night and I know, like, when I went from homelessness to that, do you know how many people were mad? Like, even people that were pretending to be my friends at that moment, there was no like, wow, good job, congratulations. It was like, oh shit, she didn't die. What do we do now? Yeah. So now, I mean, I guess the best approach is to just ignore and act like I don't exist, because they can't even slander me anymore. Because if they do, then guess what? Their people will hear my name and then they'll come over and look at my website, ChristieAphrodite.com, where there is a whole bunch documented, or you know what I mean? And they did make those mistakes by slandering me, because people would read it and they'll be like, oh, let's go look into this crazy chick. And then they'll come across evidence that shows that their leader, their master that they frickin' bow down to, lied to them. So, yeah, that's why I'm not allowed to exist. And as we, it's not just YouTube, it's all of them. And those of you like thinking Elon, oh, he's all about free speech, really? Then why do I get banned for 4 months for posting a video of my own yard? Like, really? Mm, yeah. And why is it that if I post the sex trafficking thing, it could be there for days and not one single there won't be one single like. But then if I complain, well, I'm invisible and I'm done talking to myself. Oh, then, everybody sees that. I see you. I see you. Oh, you're just looking for likes. Oh, fuck you. Yeah. If I was doing shit for likes, I would be complaining and acting like them. Yeah. So, anyways, if you're still here after 15 frickin' years, I'm pretty sure you know that nothing I've done is for likes, right? In fact, it's for anti-likes, because I want to scare the normal people away, right? Why can't you post a yard video? I can't post a yard video because it showed something in the air that I used a tag, geoengineering. Yeah. So that's why I can't post a video of my own yard. And the excuse they used, they said, and I could find the exact words. In fact, maybe I should, but it was something like, they said that it was violating somebody else's intimate, personal, private property or something. So I immediately opened up another account. I posted that video. They erased it within 20 seconds. But on the new account that had no followers, no posts, that was literally just opened 10 minutes ago, I challenged it, obviously, on my 15-year-old account, and then I challenged it on that one. within like several days, they said, "Oh, sorry, we got this wrong," on the new account with 0 followers or friends or posts. But on my 15-year-old account, appealed that, and nope, they would send me and say, "Well, if you delete it, if you agree with us that you're a bad person and did something wrong, then we might let you have your account back," which of course I'm not going to do. You know, I don't plead guilty when I'm not, just to get people off my back, like some people I don't respect. you know, yeah. So, wow. Yeah, I don't even know, but like, why would these people die if they knew their health stuff that they talk about, right? Or their health or their law of attraction or all of that bullshit, then why are you sick and dying? That doesn't make any sense. Like, why aren't I dead when you fucking killed me, when you shot at me, when you poisoned me, like, come on. So, but they got words and they got money and they got names and they're part of the club. So, good luck. Died of cancer. Wasn't she talking about natural cancer cures? Clearly, she didn't use them, or she was promoting the shit that kills everybody, right? I personally have a 100% success rate with cancer, but shh, don't tell anyone. What am I wearing? I am wearing a grocery store dress. And I had this on, but I was getting too excited, so I got hot. Yeah. Yeah, I still wear like homeless, what are they called? Goodwill or whatever, thrift store clothes, and I'm proud. I'm trying to kind of like not look like a homeless person, but honestly, I don't know how. It it just when it's your life for that long and I don't know, it does something to you. So, but I have found um a couple like local companies with people who make like literally with their hands clothes. Uh so I have got like a few um non-thrift store dresses, and then I'm meeting with a local this week that uh she's a seamstress. So a self-sustaining, you know, uh yeah. So I'm going to meet with her and see if she could make like dresses in the way that I like. And, but I work outside all the time, I walk in shit, I touch shit. I have 16 cats that shit every that I have to clean every day. I walk in chicken shit, I walk in goat shit, I pick it up and put shit in my garden beds. So I don't really have a whole bunch of opportunities to look not look like shit. Oh, wait, I'm getting a phone call. I'll answer for fun. Hey, girl, I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I just answered for fun. So everybody's watching me talk to you. But I was kind of ending. I just keep getting distracted with cool stuff from the past. That's okay. But I'm literally okay. All right. Bye. She's not interrupting, but okay. You like the homeless look. Thanks. I don't care if I match. I used to be back in my entitled princess days and modeling and acting. Like my whole life was about looking perfect or looking how they wanted me to look, right? And I tried the whole behave, be beautiful, be seen and not heard kind of thing. It didn't really work out for me, obviously. And like when I was wearing like suits and dresses and heels and all nylons and all that crap, bras, corset, like all that shit all the time, I was miserable. And you can even see like in my eyes in those old photos. And it was just like such a waste of time. I realized one day that if I spent half the time on educating myself as I did in the mirror, trying to make my eyelashes look perfect, like how smart would I be? Right. And so I started to get angry that I was tricked into thinking that looks was all there is. 50 pairs of shoes, freaking $1,200 pairs of pants. Like that's normal? That's not normal. That's like not, and what's the point? Like nobody, and the nicer stuff you have, the more people want to steal it anyways. And the suits were cool, the dresses are cool, but really they were all like monocolor kind of thing. I was always all the classic stuff, right? Which I love Audrey Hepburn. I love that style. I love all that. That's great. But I don't want to wear black every day or brown every day. I like color. I don't want to match. Hey, Savannah. I don't know. We're just talking shit. I was trying to leave a little bit ago, and not because, whatever. It's just because how much does anybody want to hear this voice? And I haven't eaten all day, but thank you. Thanks again. Thank you for all of you being here and like really just your support through all of that, right? The homelessness, the illness, the not being able to talk or walk. And then to be here now, I think that's pretty cool. I love mall clothes, but I work in a mechanical shop. Awesome. Wow. Yeah, I don't even know the last time I went to a mall. It was like you were supposed to do it in high school, but even then I don't know. But yeah, I did. I loved Ann Taylor clothes. That was my favorite store. Um, but yeah, I don't remember the last time I was in a store like that. And this was another thing that helped me go from trying to be a doll to just who cares kind of thing. And the who cares thing isn't exactly a fuck you. It's more of a this is comfortable, right? And it's affordable. And I quit wearing bras because I didn't want to give myself breast cancer, not because I'm trying to be a slob or trying to be like, you know what I mean? It's because I don't want to be sick anymore. And comfortable clothes, not tight fitting and all of that crap, it wasn't comfortable. And like I said, you could see it in my eyes in those photos. So, but yeah, I love dresses and skirts and, I wear them all the time, even if they have holes and paint. Um, and even if I'm roofing or walking in shit. But yeah, why would I want a $500 dress if I could do the same in a $10 dress, right? I have 5 pairs of Tractor Supply jeans, and that's mostly all I ever wear on the farm. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't wear jeans only because they never fit me and my body because I'm 6 feet tall and rel I guess a pretty small waist for my size. And so if it fits my butt, it doesn't fit my waist. If it fits my waist, it won't fit my butt or it won't be long enough. And I didn't like shit hanging down and just I wanted a damn pair of pants that I could button at my waist and that never happened. Plus, I'm middle-aged now, and sometimes I just have to, like, pee immediately, and I could lift up a skirt easily, plus it's a napkin or a sweat rag, or I can carry eggs or so it's just functional for me. Um, I'm a city preppy kids, but mechanical places and countrysides call me now. Nice. Yeah. I don't even know if, yeah, like even small towns are too big for me these days. So I really hope, I mean, and even where I live, it's not even an actual city, but there is like a main road out there. And even though it's quiet as can be, like in the season, the tourists or hunters or boaters or whatever going by, it's like, wow, that's loud. But yeah, thankfully, I don't normally have to deal with all the stuff that cities have, right? Like sirens and 5G and wireless and smart meters and stuff. But we are getting fumigated, just like everybody else. So six of one, half a dozen of the other. All right, kids, I will be back. I don't know when. Like I said, I can't post a link because y'all saw what happens. If I do, then I get erased. But thank you so much for choosing to spend your time here. And it is always nice to see your names and faces. A solar farm is buying all the land. Oh, wow. Wow. A solar farm. Hmm. Interesting. Wow. All right. Well, you guys, yeah, I appreciate you very much. Again, myteressence.net, or you could email me, ozarkschurchofnature at gmail. And I do show up on Facebook once in a while. And what's my name on Twitter? Even though I always quit. It's if you just do hashtag Ozarks Church of Nature, then you'll find me there if you're there, if you want to, or whatever. So I hope you have an awesome week. If you have any suggestions on topics you want to hear, there's a couple different videos that, I don't know, or a few, which I'll do. It just depends on when I'm inspired or have the time. But life after death, or wait, how death saved my life is one. Um, the cause of all disease is another. The other was why you're not healing. And I'm sure there's others written down, but I always forget. So if you have a vote or for any of those or a suggestion, then pretty please let me know. And thank you all. I'm going to go probably stick some leftover mashed potatoes in my face. Have an awesome night. Yeah, thank you.